Welcome to the art and science of difficult conversations, where we believe when you communicate better, you live better. As always, I'm Chris, joined by Lucy. Lucy, welcome today. How are you?
Pretty good, Chris. What about yourself?
Better now. We got a new couch, so everything's much more comfortable in our house. But Lucy, I'm wondering, for you, when you think about courage, when you think about kind of moving forward without fear or through fear, what comes to mind for you?
That's a big topic for me because as an immigrant, I'm moving to a country where I didn't know anybody in a way. Took a lot out of me. And at the same time, I look at it as an opportunity and really a gift because it had me grow through all my fears. And it also had me being more courageous in other areas once that one was done. What about you and courage?
I've always thought of it as you'll still feel that fear and it's okay. And just to embrace it and just dive in. I think I've had enough circumstances where I held back because of fear and I missed out on really good opportunities because of that. So after those, I like, you know what? I just need to dive in. I'm going to need to move forward. And I think it's helped me see when people are reacting out of fear of something. I see it in my mom a lot more. Like she's got more big reactions now as she gets older. And I'm noticing it's just because she's scared of something. I can't be sure what it is yet because she's not going to share her feelings like that. But she's scared of something. So it's really about how do I help her, support her through that stuff. But that's why I'm interested in our guest today. I'm interested. Our guest today reached out to us through one of those podcast sites, and she's a former pro athlete. She's a relationship coach, and I'm just excited to hear about her experiences. So today we're welcoming Tina. Tina, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for sharing these amazing stories. Congratulations for both of us to overcome fear and stepping into courage, especially being in another country and I assume another language as well. So awesome. For me, I'm Tina. I started my career, with being an athlete, actually very young age, because first I started with horseback riding, then I was in the Snowboard World Cup. And after that, I decided it was more of a decision like that the life gave me because I was winning a race that I thought was important to me, but I wasn't happy. I thought this race would give me happiness if I win it. But I was sitting in my car driving back, the goblet next to me, and I was like, well, if this is happiness, that's not enough. That was when I learned that maybe it's not all about winning, but there must be more to life. And that enabled me for the search for what is that more. And the more for me started to go to Latin America. I have this experience of living in another country for a while, and I didn't really speak the language because people there, they were so poor, but they were so happy. I decided to go there, live there for a while to understand what happiness means. And I think that was I don't want to say it was my boldest step into courage, because actually in the sports background, you need a lot of courage, like to show yourself, to show up, to show yourself who you are, to do the race, whatever it takes, because obviously you're not always in the best shape. Sometimes you have your problems, you have them with you, but you still go. Like it's 3, 2, 1, boom, go. And you have to, whatever it is, you have to deal with it. Like on the way, no one cares. So there were a lot of experiences that gave me a lot of knowledge for my life. But consciously stepping out of everything that I thought was my life was when I went to Latin America and I lived with another culture in another, not mindset, but with people that had other priorities and other things that made them happy, because nothing there is based on money and status. There is no money, there is no status. So I learned really a lot there. And when I came back, I thought like, that'd be great if people could dive a little bit into that. And if I could help people to understand that happiness is not based on money and status, but there is a layer beneath that. And if this layer is in place, then everything else just adds to it. But if this layer is not in place, then you can do what you want, but nothing's really going to make you happy or fulfill you. And so I decided to do the coaching journey. And because after some education and I didn't know which path to go, I asked my friends, what do you think I'm good at? And they said, I was coming from Latin America, the flirt pros. That's just true, And they said like, well, maybe you should do something in flirting. You're good at that. And I said, sounds fun. So let's do this. And this is how I came into coaching. And then basically everything developed step by step. First it was singles, then it was relationships. Then I developed or understood that I mean, it's great to have a relationship coach and to coach relationships, but if you're not happy as an individual, the relationship is not going to work. And then I got back to more to the individual till that point where I'm right now, where I'm a performance coach and the Dream Life mentor, where I try to make people create their dream life first. And from there, I think the relationship starts at just another level, because there you can just thrive together. You're not basing or trying to make your partner like make you happy, but you're happy. And from that place, when you come together with another happy person, then the happiness can just grow. And that's basically my life. So I can't say, like, looking backward, that there were a lot of incidences when I needed a lot of courage. But I think whenever you follow your heart, you need a lot of courage, whatever it is. If you just say to someone, I love you, and you don't know if the answer is yes or I love you too, that takes a lot of courage. And Lucy, to go to your situation that you said before, it takes a lot of courage to stay, but sometimes it takes a lot of courage to walk away.
Absolutely.
I think life is full of courage moments.
Yep.
That's an incredible story. Do you find that there are parallels between the courage it takes to when you're competing to go out there and do what you got to do, and then the courage in these kind of relationships and these conversations, or even to move to new places that where you don't know the culture really well? Do you find there similarities or differences in the types of courage required?
I think that the sports life actually gave me so many tools that I only retrospectively understand what they added to my life. Like, as I said before, you're there in the start box, and there you hear the countdown, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I mean, every day, I wrote an article about that today. Every day we have this countdown in our life. Like when we open our eyes, it's 3, 2, 1, go. And then your day starts. We just don't hear it. It's not a conscious beat. But are we prepared for this day, or are we not prepared for this day? It doesn't matter. You go. You have to. And I think if you think consciously about that, you might do some different choices, because what we do not think is that we are already in the game. We think like procrastination or anything is like postponing the game, but we don't understand that whatever we do are in this game already. We're playing it. We're in this. There is no other game than life. Like going for your goals or going for your relationship or whatever it is, it's just part of the whole game of life. So every day when you get up in the morning, every year, every month, it doesn't matter. It's a new game and you start it over again. And I think when you consciously see it this way, you might do some different choices, because it's easy to say, well, I decide this tomorrow. But it's not so easy to say like, well, I am already there. I'm already in the goal. I need to decide this because I am going. So I think like when I went out of the start box and I was in the race, I couldn't postpone like, will I do this turn this way or this way? I was there already, and I had to do the decision in the moment. And I think this is what we do, because we don't think we are in the race already. So this is why we postpone so many things in our lives, unless I'm saying like, hey, I am on the go. I'm in this life already, and there's a decision. It's waiting for me right now. So why I'm not making it? I think this is, and this is based on a lot of courage to say, because whether we do yes or no, or I mean, even indecisiveness is a decision. So which decision will take me closer to what my heart is like crying for? This is the question we should ask. Not, do I take the decision now or tomorrow or another day? But it's just one life that we have. And if we really want to have this life fulfilled and live happy, or maybe create the dream life, then it's now or never. There's no tomorrow, because tomorrow will also only be a now.
It sounds like even fear of making the wrong decision can get in the way of our life and our happiness. What would you advise those people that are saying, you know, I'm really struggling with making decisions because I feel I really want to make the right decision, and maybe I need to do more research. Maybe morning is better than the evening. There's a saying in Czech language, you know, the morning is wiser than the night, to not to make decisions in the evening. What would you tell those people that are struggling with this?
I think there's two sides of the coin. There are people who really do not have enough education to make a decision. Like when you're just starting out and you learned a little bit, that's just a common thing that I don't even know who said that, but I see that it's completely right. So if you start something new and you learn a little bit, you think you're good at this because you know more than you knew like before. But when you dive deeper into the subject and you get like almost a master, then you understand, oh my God, there's so much things that I don't know yet. So, and this is also, like the more you learn, the more you understand there is still to learn. So some masters, they think there's so much still to learn and they don't take a decision because they see the whole thing that there is left for them to learn. And otherwise, the beginners, they just learn just a little. They make a decision because they think, whoa, I learned so much. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good thing to understand it this way. If someone had 1 year of studying medicine, I would not let them do a heart surgery on myself. But someone who is a surgeon, he's ready with the studies. He has done, I don't know how many, I don't really know what you have to do to become a professional doctor, but you have done this and much more. And then you're still unsure about yourself, even though you have the best grades, you never really failed or anything, And this is the other side of the thing. So you need to understand where in this journey are you? If you're just a beginner, do the necessary steps that makes you or enables you to succeed. But if you are already good at what you're doing, then it's fear that is holding you back. And then it's your time to make a decision. There's something else that I think is important to understand. Even though you make a mistake, if you're not risking someone else's life, it's also a learning experience. You don't have to go to school to learn all lessons. Some lessons, they're just free of charge and life gives them to you.
True. And I wonder, this could be even a fear of rejection, let's say in relationships and flirting. When somebody wants to approach somebody, but they're so afraid of what if they're going to think the horrible thing about me? Or what if they're going to judge me? What if they're going to reject me?
It's a lot of that. I mean, that's amazing when you go to Latin America. These people seem to not have any of these fears. They go from one woman to the next, to the next, to the next, until one says, okay, and I want to get a drink with you. So there is no fear of rejection at all. And there's nothing, because I think they don't overthink the process. They know that there is a person, I don't know this person. Maybe if we talk for 5 minutes, I don't like this person anymore. And I think the fear of rejection that comes when you think too much about the process before you really get to know this person. So if you think of, oh my God, this person is so beautiful, and maybe they don't even see me, and maybe I'm not enough, then it gets scary, because then you push this person up on a podest and you see yourself so small. And this is why there is so much fear involved and why you cannot make a step towards that. And in Latin America, these guys, also the ladies, but they would never make a first step probably, but it doesn't matter in that sense. Like, they just go there. They don't overthink it. Say, hey, this is a beautiful lady. I'm going to talk to her. She says, yes, great. She says, no, also great. There are 20 other beautiful ladies that I can talk to. And I think this is a good way to see it. And this is why I said before, overthinking is not necessarily good all the time. If you do the first step, you have at least a chance to experience if it would be for you or not.
Do you think that's also something that you learned as a result of being an athlete? I think athletes get used to putting themselves out there and making mistakes because that's part of the journey. You have to train and get better and fail at things. But it's not like that in most other outside of that. Like, people don't like to fail or make mistakes. They don't like putting themselves out there. So do you see that difference, that contrast?
I have to say that athletes don't like to make mistakes either.
Oh, fair enough.
No,
fair enough.
We like to win, but it's inevitable. So you cannot question that. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to give your best, whatever that means at that moment. And you have to make the mistakes. So there's no rational prevention. And that's the difference. Like, normal in life, there is your ratio, your mind that is going to try to protect you from making mistakes. As an athlete, you don't have that chance. You go there and you just perform. There is no question mark in this process because it's too quick. It's too fast. So everything that is involved in this process, it's outside of you. So as I said before, there is the ding, ding, ding start. It's not, I don't say like I'm ready. Someone else says ready. And when you're not ready, it's your problem. You're still going to go there and you're still going to start. And in life, you overthink this. Am I ready? Is it the right time? In sports, no one asks you that. The right time is because on the schedule, it says it's this time and you go.
Yep.
That's it. And I think this is sometimes it would help in life if we say to ourselves, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I'm going to do this. And that's the date with life. And it's not I cannot postpone. I cannot remove it. This is what I'm going to do. And tomorrow, maybe set an alarm or anything. When it goes off, you go. You don't overthink it. I mean, this is something that I tell people that trying to lose weight or to do sports, for example. I do still sports every day. Am I motivated every day? No. There are sure days when I think in the morning, oh, I'm tired and I don't feel like it, but I don't think about that. I'm not thinking, am I tired? I mean, if I feel that my body is weak, like I'm like getting sick or anything, I would reduce maybe the intensity of what I'm doing. I'm not skipping it unless I'm really sick or anything. It's just put the question process out. And I just say, okay, I know that when I give in to my mind goes like, yeah, but maybe, yeah, but maybe, yeah, but maybe. If I give too much of this thought room, it might convince me to do something that is not good for me because my mind is strong. But I need to be stronger than my mind. And if I'm stronger than my mind, the easiest way of being stronger than my mind is just don't get into the chatter. Like avoid this conversation with yourself. Just say like, shut up, I'm going to do this now. And then after, like when you're done with what you tried to avoid, you're going to be so proud. And it's going to be such a good feeling. And instead of feeling guilty of not doing it, you feel great because you did it. And I mean, guess what? It's going to fuel your life.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. It inspired her when she watched some rocket blast off when they were counting. And she had really hard time waking up early in the morning, getting her day started. And so she had this idea, what if I do the same thing? Basically count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, do whatever I need to do without giving the brain a chance to talk her out of it.
Yeah.
So
Just don't give your mind a chance. That's the thing for me, Alan. And I think this is also something that it's easy to apply into your life. Yeah, it's like, okay, I just don't think about it so much. And I just don't give this conversation space in my life. I go for the thing. Are you doing that too?
There is, I would say for a lot of things, yeah. Waking up at 3:30, 3:45, if I have an early work session, that definitely helps me to get up. That rule. I'm just wondering though, where is the balance? Sometimes it can be difficult to say, do we override our body's signals? If that could be the danger of I just have to do it, and we push ourselves so hard that maybe we injure ourselves.
Some quality type, I think. I mean, there are for sure overachievers, like people they would push over their boundaries. But when I work with people, I think one of the most important things is that I try to connect them more to their bodies, to listen to the signals. The body is always talking to you, always, with all the little symptoms like being tired, not being awake in the morning, or feeling overwhelmed, or feeling tight or tension, or like digestion is not working like really good. So if you listen to these little signals, that is very important. And this should be, of course, if you feel like there's something wrong with your body, then you do not push. Then you just take it back. But it doesn't mean like, for example, you cannot get on a yoga mat and do some stretching. So it depends on what you're suffering for. If you're suffering and you're close to a burnout, then being gentle with yourself is for sure the better solution. But if you deal with procrastination, then pushing a little bit doesn't hurt. So I think it's to find the right thing for the right person.
So finding the balance in a way. What side are we on? Are we more procrastinating on things? Then maybe the pushing would be helpful, getting us to the balanced state. If we are just pushing all the time, maybe kind of easing in would be the way to get centered and grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it also feels like what resonates with you, because I mean, not with what your mind thinks, but what resonates with your heart. Like if you feel that someone talking about, and it's like taking the steps and and something in you gets excited, like, wow, I need to listen to this, then this is more like what you need to do. And if you feel overwhelmed by hearing, and you have to do this step and and you feel like pushing is not what you need right now, then maybe taking back and taking care of yourself is what you need right now. So I think this is another point that we have not really learned, or in our society, it's not normal to listen very much to the signals to our body. All the workforce that we do, like it's always like, yeah, you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can. Yeah, of course you can. But what is good for you, and what is still leaving you a life that is worth living. Like you can't reach all the goals. You can't reach one after the other after the other. But if you just live for these goals and you don't enjoy the way, then like achieving a goal, it takes 1 minute, maybe 5, if you're lucky. The endorphins that you feel. And if this is all what you're living for, and let's say you have 10 major goals, then at maximum you live 1 hour in happiness for all your life is not enough. So the way to this is as important as the goal itself. And I think if you understand to really embrace and live both, then you have the magic formula to create a happy life.
How do you think about learning to embrace that journey? Because I think I like that concept. How do you help others or think about learning to embrace liking the parts of the journey as you're on the journey?
I think it depends on where you are, but one of the most important things is that many people have forgotten what it means to be happy in the moment. So we are so focused on everything that is whether the past or the future that we do not appreciate what is now. So for example, and I'm as guilty as everyone else. So if I have a very busy day, sometimes I find myself with my breakfast in front of my computer, but that's not what I do usually. So if it's not really an extremely busy day where I have like to get up at 3:00 in the morning to get everything like at least mostly into this one day, then I try to take my time. And then I try to really consciously start the morning. Every morning I do meditation and yoga. That's indispensable. If I start at 2:00 for that, that's fine. I'm going to do it. Maybe I shorten it a little bit, but I'm going to do it. But if it's a normal day, then the first 3 hours of the day, they're for me. They're just for me and I don't stress at all. And I think this sets me up for a good and balanced start for the day. And I think always like how we start into the day, it's going to give us the foundation of how this day is going to develop in some way. So I like to start with conscious time for myself. I like to enjoy my breakfast, and then I'm ready to take on whatever the day brings me. I mean, I have my plan, but sometimes it goes for like the plan, sometimes it doesn't, just life. But I think the most important thing is that we find this moment where we look back at ourselves and try to feel ourselves. I have, like when I start with a new client, so many times when I ask them, how do you feel? They don't know. They don't know. They cannot say, I feel like this. It's like the only thing that they know is like, yeah, but that doesn't matter because there is something else that is more important. No. Most important thing is that you know how you feel right now, because actually being happy is a feeling. You have to feel the happiness. If you don't have time to feel the happiness, you're not going to feel happy. So, and if you create your dream life and you're just running all the time, you're not going to feel a lot happy. The same is in your relationship. If you're not taking time for this connection, or even listening to what the other person is saying, chances are you're not going to be happy in this relationship because you don't even have time to experience it. So this is where we start. We take a little time and listen to what our body, our signals is telling us to feel ourselves, to get back to, okay, if I do this, and that's fundamental, really fundamental. If I cook, does it drain me or does it fuel me? If I read, does it drain me or does it fuel me? You have to relearn what is empowering you, what is giving you positive energy. And if you go back to these fundamentals and okay, reading is good for me, cooking is not good for me, that stresses me, then do more reading and less cooking. Nowadays there's really good chance that you don't have to cook as much as like 100 years ago. So there are options for you. Even though I'm not saying that they're the best options, but there are options. And do this for a lot of things. I mean, there are things maybe that you cannot avoid at this moment, but it doesn't mean that around these things you can put or place other things that really fuel you. And that's a good start. And from there, they're a good base to build on and build a life that you really like.
So it sounds like basically having a lot of conversations with ourselves and our body and listening to what our body is saying, what our energy is saying.
Absolutely. I mean, happiness is just something that we feel. So if I'm happy, I feel it because my energy feels good, because I smile. Only not because I do that, because I force myself, but it happens. I feel open to the world. But how do I feel it? Because I consciously understand that I feel something. So if I don't take the time, so this is like running up a mountain because I want to go to the cross at the top. And I just run. I don't even see flowers. I don't see the view. I don't see anything. And then at the top, I'll be, and it's going to be 1 minute. And then I go down. And all this journey, I didn't see anything. This is a marathon, but it's not life. I'm not saying that it's not okay to do it once in a while, but if this is your whole life, no wonder that there is no happiness and there is a burnout inside because you don't take time to appreciate. It's just right now. You cannot appreciate tomorrow. You cannot appreciate in 10 years, even though you don't even know if you live in 10 years. So why not taking a little time for now and look what's awesome right now in this moment. For example, it's awesome we have that conversation and we inspire people. So why not appreciate that as well?
Sounds like the path to happiness then is 1, pausing, and 2, asking ourselves, what is something that I can appreciate? Kind of the path through gratitude in a way, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes. And also finding things that make you happy, because people in depression, like they don't see so many things in that moment that make them happy. Okay, then start like feeling yourself, because there's also resistance to feel, because they feel themselves not sufficient. They feel themselves sad when they go deep inside. So you need to take the first steps. You cannot, happiness is also not something that you have from one day to the next. It's a journey. And even though you are happy, tomorrow you will still have to understand what makes me happy. Because what made me happy today might not make me happy tomorrow, because tomorrow is another day. My body feels different. So for example, today I'm doing a strong workout and that makes me happy because I did some things that I never did before and I feel super powerful. But tomorrow I feel tired and I will not be able to do the same workout because maybe I overdid it today. I don't know. Let's just make something up. And then something else will make me happy. Maybe tomorrow makes me happy that I take a walk and I enjoy the sun. So, every day, this happiness journey, it starts just fresh and new. A good thing is maybe to find 3 things a day. It's very little things where you can say thank you at night. Thank you that I could experience that. And even it's just like, thank you that I'm still alive, because sometimes there are these things, when you feel like, oh my goodness, what was a bomb? You made it through that.
Yeah, that's the exact same exercise. I work as a therapist also. That's the exact same exercise I offer to some people. Like, just journal the top 3 things, top 3 wins or things you're thankful for each day, and then they're always surprised. Like after like just a week, they're like surprised. Like, oh, I had so many things go well. I didn't realize this.
Actually, that is a very, very big point, because we assume once we did something that it's normal because we were able to do it, and we forget so many times the awesome things that we did. Like on the way, like when we want to get better, like I said it today and I'm going to say it again because I think it's a cool metaphor. Like when you do a bungee jump and you stand up there, you're super afraid, like, oh my God, I cannot do this. And then you do the bungee jump and then you did it. And then immediately your mind goes like, that wasn't so big of a thing. It was just, you could do it. And I think this is where we have to protect ourselves from, that our mind reduces the impact that this thing has. Because in the first moment, you feel like, whoa. And then your mind goes like, yeah, it wasn't such a big of a thing. No, don't do that. Like, take a note of how big this of a thing was. And when you stand up there and you thought like, oh my God, I can never do this, take a note of this. And then be proud of yourself that you did it, because it's going to fuel your life and it's going to fuel your journey forward.
That reminds me, I used to do martial arts, and I participate. I'm not a pro, but I competed in a couple of mixed martial arts tournaments, and I talked to multiple other fighters of other sports, and they all feel the same way. Like, leading up to sparring or an actual fight, our hearts were just beating so hard. Like, it was just indescribable. Like, one guy told me he felt like throwing up before every fight or spar. But as soon as the fight starts, we all of us feel calm. We're like, okay, now we're in it. It's okay. We know what we got to do. But leading up to it is like the most nerve-wracking thing in the world.
It's a beautiful metaphor, I think, for everything. Like every athlete can say that, like the start, that's the most horrible thing. When you did the first curve, you're in it. You don't have even time to think about it. And I think it's for everything where you take the first step in your life. It's what you think about what it will be, what makes you scared, and what makes you postpone, what makes you procrastinate. But once you did the first step and you see like, I'm still alive, So let's do the second as well. Then it's just like, yeah, then you're in it already. So it's really the thing, like, and this is what brings me back to just don't think so much. Do it. I mean, not jumping without the bungee jump, not risking your life, but public speaking, for example, is a great example for that. So you're not going to die. Whatever's going to happen, if the people like you or they don't like you, you're not going to die. So you're pretty safe to do it or to at least try it. And this is a great example for where you can push I call it the sustainable pain zone, because I don't think that we are comfortable in the comfort zone. Actually, we're really uncomfortable there because we want to leave it because we don't like it. And the real comfort is outside of it. So for me, it's really like leaving this space and pushing forward into something where we really can relax and where we really can be the person that we're supposed to be, that we feel like internally that we want to be.
What's coming up for me is how to balance the preparation with taking the action. For athletes, they do a lot of training for a race or anything that might take just a shorter time. So even with Chris, we talk about preparing for the difficult conversations.
I think, honestly, that we cannot skip the work. Whatever you have to do in your life, if it's relationships, if it's business, you can never skip the work. Like for difficult conversations, it's a lot of work that you have to do with yourself to overcome your own fears, and especially the fear of not being loved, because this is one of the greatest fears that we have, like people, humans. We want to be loved, and having a difficult conversation, why don't we have it? Because we fear of losing this person. That is obviously important because, excuse me, if that person wouldn't be important, the conversation wouldn't be so difficult. So, and this is what we have to work on, whether it's ourselves or the work that we do outside of ourselves. If we think that the work doesn't need to be done, we're completely wrong. So there is no achieving something without doing the work. It's massive work. I'm not lying to anyone. I don't like to tell people like it's all going to be in the blink of a moment, because no, you have to do the work. Once you do the work, and for example, if you get rid of this fear, if you know that you are awesome, that you are lovable, you deserve love, even though you might not fit to this one particular person, even though you love them, but even though they say no to whatever it is that you want to talk about, it doesn't mean that they don't love you, but it means maybe that they love themselves too. And this is not compatible. If you understand it this way, conversations get a little easier. I'm not saying it eliminates the hurt. You know, when you split up with someone in a relationship that you love, it's going to hurt, but that doesn't need to ruin your ego or the person that you are when you don't identify with this relationship as a part of yourself. If you know you are lovable, you deserve everything, and you are complete even without that person, then that person is like an add-on to your life, but it's not a necessary part to make you stable. And I think this is the work that you need to do to stabilize yourself enough that you don't need the person, but you can appreciate them and love them for who they are and when they are there, and as long as they're there.
What would you say could be some steps for somebody that is in a place, well, if this person doesn't love me, that means something is wrong with me. I have all these data to prove that something must be wrong with me and I'm not lovable. And so, yeah, you can tell me I'm worthy, but I don't think so. What would be some first steps this person could take?
It's a very, very difficult situation. And I think in some extent, we all have been in the situation. I mean, I don't know, but I have been in this situation. I think a very good first step is to look in your dark spots. Why am I thinking this? Why am I thinking that I'm not awesome? Where does this come from? Who hurt me in my past? What happened in my whatever education, wherever, anything before? Where is this coming from? Why don't I believe that, this little child that I was, that was with these blinking eyes and this radiant energy, what did happen in this life of this person that they don't believe they're awesome, lovable, and everything, that they have everything? I mean, people say always like they don't want to look so much in the past yet, but some moments we have to just understand where it's coming from so we can heal it. Because actually, this moments when we feel that we are not enough, it's our inner child that needs love, that needs to be whole, that needs to be cuddled and to be seen for what it wasn't seen at this moment. And this is what we need to do. Like really find what did we miss at one point. And then because now we're adults, we can give it to ourselves. We don't need anyone else to fulfill this void that we have in ourselves. We can do it for ourselves, but there is this process of learning. And it's going to be a little difficult for many people to do it on their own. A point of an advice is to maybe get some help for this, because especially if you are like 30 plus, you have carried that for a very long time. And I'm pretty sure that you have tried to eliminate it from your life, but you didn't see it because it was so painful. So you stuck it somewhere and you covered it and you forgot it and you hid it. So get a little help to see this. And it's also a safe space to open this up and to like slowly approach it, because you don't have to do it like in 1 second. And I think it's a little bit of a process to find back into self-love, because for many people also, it's like when you look at Louise Hay, like standing in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, and believe it. For many people, this is impossible because they don't think of themselves like this. And I think to really be able to be in a successful relationship, this is space to be able to stand in front of the mirror and say to yourself, like this person, the one person that you cannot escape for the rest of your life, you need to be able to say, I love you when you stand in front of the mirror. This is the reason. When you are there, when you have like refound this for yourself, like when you embrace that for yourself, that's a good time to dive into these conversations without fear.
So antidote to fear is love and starting with ourselves and having the conversations with ourselves, compassionate, kind conversations to the mirror.
Absolutely. The opposite of fear is of love isn't hate. It's whether you don't care or.
And so the path, if we take it to the difficult conversations, to have better difficult conversations, sounds like to start with ourselves and saying something affirming to ourselves. What would be
the most difficult conversations we have with ourselves? Worst critique of ourselves is, criticizing myself way more than other people.
True.
Not very kind with myself, but I had to learn to be kind with myself. I mean, sometimes, like when I'm really stressed, I find myself in a little moment when I get, hey, come on, you have the right to do something that wasn't like 100% great. And then I laugh about myself, say, hey, it's okay. Like you fucked it up and now you're going to restart this thing and you're going to do it again. But beating yourself up for everything that goes wrong, and also for that, like, for example, in difficult relationships, what happens sometimes is that we beat ourselves up for what goes wrong in other people's lives. When you're at this point, then like there's no way out because you cannot win this anymore. So you need to find back to the kindness that you give to other people. Like how you look at other people. Like other people make a mistake and say, it wasn't that bad. Especially, for example, if you're in a toxic relationship, you would grant this favor to the toxic person like all the time, because it's the only way that you can stay in this relationship, because otherwise you would sell yourself for nothing. So you're finding excuses for the other person and you put all the burden on your own shoulders and the care and the weigh you really down. So why can you not at least give you the same compassion that you can give the other person? Then maybe you need to face that you cannot stay in this relationship anymore. Okay. But the compassion to yourself and not carrying too much weight and so much weight that it almost kills you. This is a very, very important part of the happy life.
Why do you think we're so hard on ourselves or people in general?
I think we learned it like in school or for an education. This is where it all started. We were judged by marks in school, and you did this right and you did this wrong, and you will have success in life based on if you had a good mark in mathematics, even though you're good at communication or something like that. And I think because of that, sometimes we were also, and this is, I think, a thing that we have in our society, that we also get punished, like with not getting love. Yeah, like children were sent on their room and now, and this is hard because the children don't understand. So like no one goes to the child and say, I love you, but that wasn't good. So in our communication, like the way we communicate things, we don't say that one thing wasn't good that you did. We say you are not good. So we identify whatever was not good, what the person did with who the person is. And I think this makes us judge ourselves way more, because when something goes wrong, we have learned that it's not one thing that went wrong, but we were wrong. We did something wrong. We are wrong. The wrong thing is not what we did. The wrong thing is us. And this is where we judge ourselves. And for other people, we can look at them and see that this is not them. We don't identify the person with what they do. For us, that looks a little different. We identify ourselves many times with whatever we do. And this is why we're judging so hard on us.
That's like you said, if you're in your 30s, or even if you're in your 20s, if things are happening from you're a kid, from a toddler, it's decades of hearing that message.
Yeah. It's like, and you repeat it also. Like, it's not just that you heard it from outside. You keep repeating. Like, you identify. Like, you're not saying, like, let's say you burned something on your oven. It's not like, oh my God, this thing burned. Why am I so stupid? This is the natural reaction. Why did I do this? Okay, you didn't pay attention. So it wasn't you. It was something that you did, but you identify. And that's the problem, because this is why you beat yourself up. And it was just like something you burned. But people are seriously mad with themselves for something like that. And that wasn't even serious. It was like, okay, one spoiled food.
That's wild. So how long did it take you personally to get on this, to come to a place where you could be compassionate towards yourself, or just even further than when you started?
I think it was like when I really started this journey, I have to say, I think like 4 years maybe, to really come to a point where I can feel like what is on the outside doesn't really influence me so much. So because at the beginning I was kind to myself, but when something happened on the outside, I was still like impacted. So to come to a point where I can really say, okay, this happened on the outside. Sometimes I wonder and I'm like, whoa, I don't understand even what's happening. So, but I don't give it the credit. Like, I'm not thinking I'm the reason for this. I just think, okay, I don't understand why this happened. I don't think that I did something, but maybe that's the new thought that you need to adapt. Maybe it doesn't have to do anything with me. It can be something that this person suffers from. And maybe it's just not me. Maybe it's just them. And I'm the mirror. I'm just reflecting something about themselves that they don't like, and they're reacting to this. And sometimes their words reflect that even. They say something, okay, now you're not talking about me. For example, they would tell me something like, you're afraid. No, I'm not. Like, because I know I'm not. So, and then it's like, and the more you get conscious about who you are, the less these things affect you. The more you can be like, okay, I see you, I hear you. Thank you for the feedback. I mean, this is something you can still say, thank you for the feedback. You're not obligated to take it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like another rule to happiness would be not to take things personally.
That's a good thing. I mean, this is like you said before, balance. I'm not saying that you're like, you can never make a mistake. Of course you can. So some feedback might be true. Sometimes you might have done something to hurt other people. Maybe you didn't want to, but it still happened. So it's not like it's never you. But even though it is about you, it's not personally against you. So again, don't identify yourself as the being, as the human, with the thing that went wrong. It's something that you did that wasn't good. You as a person can still be okay, and you can make up for what went wrong. Because if you think that you went wrong, it's harder, or maybe sometimes even impossible to make up. If it's just one thing that you did, there is a chance you can make up for this.
Sounds like really working on our mindset from that one. That means I am not good enough. I will never change and I'm doomed forever, basically, versus the mindset of I'm worthy no matter what. Even if people reject me, even if I fail, doesn't mean anything about my worthiness. Kind of separating the worthiness from what people say or do around us, or if I achieve or not.
If I have this positive mindset, like that I'm worthy and that I'm able to do or to achieve whatever I want, then I enable myself to override the negative and to create something positive. If I think about myself in this negative way, then how can I build on this something positive and something stable? So I think just the basis for relationships, for business, for whatever you want to do in your life is that you believe that you're good enough and you can do it. Because otherwise, if here it says no, how can your life give it to you? And you can really take it, because that's another thing. Like when you don't believe, for example, that you're beautiful because you think like you're not, and anyone outside of you will come and say like you're beautiful, you're not believing it. And that's the same with success or other things that come to you in your life. If you don't think that you deserve it, that you own it, that it is for you, you're going to reject it. So it cannot stay. So open your arms and say like, it's all good. I can make mistakes, but it doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of it. That means I have to learn something and I can get better. But go back to the basics. I think we talked about it before. Feel yourself and do little things that make you happy. You don't like, again, it's a journey. It's not something that comes from you like from 1 second to the other. So I think when the children move out, it's something very great to rediscover who you are when you're not a mother or a father, because it was a role that occupied really a big part of your life till that point. So now rediscover, who am I now? I have evolved, but like this situation or this phase in my life that has changed me. I'm not the 20-year-old, like bungee jumping person anymore. So who am I now? And then start to do the little things that make you happy, like 3-4 things every day, and rediscover what fills you now, what fulfills, what fuels you now, what gives you energy, what makes you fall into bed at night happy, and do that. And this is a great way to restart the life. You don't have to figure it out all in one day, but I think when the journey is good and fun and makes you happy, like if you have 4 or 5 things every day that make you happy, it's already worthy of a day. It's already a good day. And if you have more of these days, then eventually you'll discover a new path and a new way that you want to go. So just take your time, be patient with yourself, and really embrace moments of happiness and make them more. So many times in life, I think we don't have the roadmap. And even if we have the roadmap, the road changes sometimes. You know, there is construction area. Okay, so
yeah.
what do I do now?
Yeah.
I think this is the beauty of life. You can have the road and you can have it all figured out, but then life says, nope, and you need to do something else.
Yeah.
So why not surrender a little bit to what is, accept it, don't refuse it, don't reject it, don't work against it, because it's there anyway. You cannot, you're not making it better by pushing it away, like ours. So just say, take a deep breath and say, I'm going to face it. Let's see what it brings.
Tina, what are, if somebody was, let's say for some random reason, somebody turned on this episode and they fast forwarded to just this point in the episode randomly, what are 1 to 2 big takeaways that you hope they would get from this?
Don't overthink your life. And the thing that you should focus on for whatever you want to do is feel into what is good for you. Don't let yourself be held back so much by the boundaries that you make up in your own head. Don't overthink it and just do the first tiny little step. Open the window, look out, and go to the other side just to taste if the grass is greener.
Love it. Tina, you're so inspiring. Are you a keynote speaker?
Yes, I am.
I was going to say, I'm ready to like jump up and like run through a wall right now. So excited about everything you just shared. This is incredible.
I love speaking. I think this is just my thing.
Yeah, you're good at it. This is great. Like it's awesome. Your wisdom and your experiences. How would people find you if they want to follow your work? If they want to get in contact with you, how could people find you?
The easiest way is probably my website. It's www.tinaenglisch. It's TINAENGLISCH.com. And the Tina Englisch is all my social handles on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. So it's pretty simple.
Awesome. Love keeping it simple. We'll link all that in the show notes below, but it's all good. Tina, this was so inspiring to me. It was so great to hear you share. Thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really great being here. I loved it.